Hey everyone, Inko here. And tonight, we're doing something different. Tonight, I'm telling you a story, a classic fairy tale, a story your parents probably told you when you were little. Tonight, we're telling the story of Cinderella. But here's the thing, I'm telling it in simple, easy English. So if you're learning English, this is perfect practice. You can listen, understand, and learn new words along the way. So get comfortable. Close your eyes if you want. And let's begin. Once upon a time. That's how all fairy tales start, right? Once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella lived in a big house with her father, her stepmother, and her two stepsisters. Let me explain those words. Stepmother means your father's new wife, not your real mother. Stepsisters means the daughters of your stepmother, not your real sisters. So Cinderella's real mother died when Cinderella was very young. Her father married a new woman. This woman had two daughters. So now Cinderella had a stepmother and two stepsisters. And unfortunately, they were not kind to Cinderella, not kind at all. Cinderella's stepmother was cruel. Cruel means mean, unkind, harsh. She made Cinderella work all day, every day, cooking, cleaning, washing, scrubbing. From morning until night, Cinderella worked. Her two stepsisters? They did nothing. They sat around, looked in the mirror, tried on pretty dresses, and gave Cinderella more work to do. Cinderella, bring me my tea. Cinderella, clean my room. Cinderella, wash my clothes. Orders, 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 all day long. And poor Cinderella had to do everything. She slept in the kitchen, near the fireplace, because that's where the cinders were. Cinders, those are the ashes from a fire, gray, dusty ashes. That's why they called her Cinderella, because she slept by the cinders, covered in dirt and ash. But even covered in dirt and ash, even wearing old torn clothes, Cinderella was still beautiful. Beautiful inside and outside. She had a kind heart and a gentle spirit. Her stepsisters? Beautiful dresses, beautiful jewelry, but inside, mean and selfish. One day, something exciting happened. A messenger arrived at the house. He knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. "Announcement from the king," the messenger said. "There will be a royal ball at the palace tomorrow night. All the young ladies in the kingdom are invited." A ball is a fancy party with music and dancing. A palace is where the king and queen live, a huge, beautiful castle. The stepsisters screamed with excitement. "A ball at the palace! We're going, we're going!" They spent the whole day preparing, trying on dresses, fixing their hair, putting on makeup. Cinderella helped them get ready. She brushed their hair, fixed their dresses, found their shoes. "Cinderella," said the older stepsister, "what do you think of my dress?" "It's beautiful," said Cinderella. "Of course it is," said the stepsister. "Much too beautiful for you." And they laughed, mean, cruel laughter. Cinderella didn't say anything. She just helped them silently. Can I come to the ball too?" Cinderella asked quietly. The stepmother looked at her and laughed. "You go to the ball? Look at yourself. You're covered in dirt. You have no dress, no shoes. You can't go anywhere." And with that, the stepmother and the two stepsisters left for the ball. They climbed into their carriage and drove away. Cinderella was alone. She sat by the fireplace and cried. Tears rolled down her face. I wish I could go to the ball," she whispered. "Just once, just to see what it's like." And then, something magical happened. A bright light appeared in the room, sparkles of light, like stars. And there, standing in front of Cinderella, was an old woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Who are you?" asked Cinderella. "I am your fairy godmother," said the woman, "and I'm here to help you go to the ball." "My fairy godmother?" Cinderella couldn't believe it. "Yes, my dear. Now, dry your tears. We have work to do." The fairy godmother looked around the kitchen. "Bring me a pumpkin," she said. "A pumpkin? That's a big, round, orange vegetable." Cinderella brought a pumpkin from the garden. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand. Whoosh! Sparkles of magic flew through the air, and the pumpkin transformed. It grew bigger and bigger and bigger. It changed shape. it turned golden. The pumpkin became a beautiful golden carriage. "Oh my!" gasped Cinderella. "We're not done yet," said the fairy godmother. "Bring me 6 mice." "Mice? Those are small gray animals with long tails." Cinderella found 6 mice. The fairy godmother waved her wand again. Whoosh! The 6 mice transformed into 6 beautiful white horses. "And now," said the fairy godmother, "for you." She waved her wand one more time. Whoosh! Cinderella's old, torn, dirty dress disappeared. In its place was the most beautiful gown Cinderella had ever seen. It was light blue, sparkling like stars, with layers of silk and satin. On her feet appeared tiny glass slippers, clear, delicate, perfect. Glass slippers, shoes made of glass. Can you imagine? "Now you can go to the ball," said the fairy godmother. Cinderella looked at herself. She couldn't believe it. She looked like a princess. "But remember," said the fairy godmother seriously, "the magic only lasts until midnight. When the clock strikes 12, everything will return to normal. Your dress will become rags again. Your carriage will become a pumpkin. You must leave before midnight." "I will, I promise. Thank you so much," said Cinderella, and she climbed into the golden carriage and rode to the palace. When Cinderella arrived at the ball, everyone stared. "Who is that beautiful girl?" people whispered. "She looks like a princess," others said. Even the king noticed. "Who is that lovely young lady?" he asked. But it was the prince who couldn't take his eyes off her. The prince, the king's son, young, handsome, and tonight completely enchanted by this mysterious girl. He walked straight to Cinderella. "May I have this dance?" he asked, bowing politely. Cinderella smiled. Yes, of course. And they danced. They danced together all night. The prince didn't dance with anyone else, not even once. He only wanted to dance with Cinderella. "What is your name?" he asked, but Cinderella didn't tell him. She just smiled and continued dancing. Cinderella's stepsisters were at the ball too. They stared at this beautiful girl dancing with the prince, but they didn't recognize Cinderella. They had no idea it was her. Time passed quickly. Cinderella was so happy she forgot about everything. And then, bong! The clock began to strike midnight. Bong, bong, bong. "Oh no!" cried Cinderella. "I must go. I'm sorry." "Wait," called the prince. "Please, what's your name? Where do you live?" But Cinderella didn't answer. She ran. She ran down the stairs of the palace. She ran so fast that one of her glass slippers fell off her foot. She didn't stop to pick it up. She kept running. Bong, bong, bong. She reached the carriage just as the last bell rang. Bong! Midnight. The magic ended. The carriage turned back into a pumpkin. The horses turned back into mice. Her beautiful gown turned back into her old, torn dress. But Cinderella was smiling because she had one glass slipper left. One tiny, perfect glass slipper. A reminder that it was real. It all really happened. Back at the palace, the prince stood on the stairs, holding the other glass slipper. "I will find her," he said. "I will find the girl who fits this slipper, and I will marry her." The next morning, the prince sent his messengers to every house in the kingdom. "The prince is looking for the girl who fits the glass slipper," they announced. "Every young lady must try it on." The messengers arrived at Cinderella's house. The stepsisters were so excited. "It's me! I danced with the prince," said the first stepsister. She tried to put on the slipper. She pushed and squeezed and tried to force her foot in, but it didn't fit. Her foot was too big. "Let me try," said the second stepsister. She tried too, pushed, squeezed, struggled, but it didn't fit her either. "Is there anyone else in this house?" asked the messenger. "No," said the stepmother quickly, "just my 2 daughters." "Wait," said the messenger. "Who is that girl in the kitchen?" He had seen Cinderella sitting quietly by the fireplace. "Oh, her? That's just Cinderella. She didn't go to the ball. She can't possibly." "Everyone must try," said the messenger firmly. Cinderella stood up. She walked over slowly. She sat down. She lifted her foot, and the glass slipper slid on perfectly. A perfect fit. The stepmother and stepsisters gasped. "It's you?" they screamed. Cinderella smiled, and from her pocket she pulled out the other glass slipper. At that moment, the fairy godmother appeared again. Whoosh! With one wave of her wand, Cinderella's torn dress transformed into a beautiful gown once more. The messenger took Cinderella to the palace immediately. When the prince saw her, he smiled the biggest smile. "It's you," he said. "I've been looking for you. And I've been thinking about you," said Cinderella. The prince asked Cinderella to marry him. She said yes. They had a grand wedding.
Everyone in the kingdom was invited, even the stepmother and stepsisters. Cinderella was kind like that. She forgave them. And Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. The end. And that is the story of Cinderella. A story about kindness, about not giving up, about magic happening when you least expect it. Some important words from the story. Once upon a time, how we start fairy tales. Stepmother, your father's new wife. Cruel, very mean and unkind. Ball, a fancy party with dancing. Pumpkin, a big orange vegetable. Carriage, a fancy vehicle pulled by horses. Glass slipper, a shoe made of glass. Midnight, 12 o'clock at night. Happily ever after, the perfect happy ending. If you enjoyed this story, leave a comment. Tell me, what's your favorite fairy tale? And if you want more bedtime stories in easy English, let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with kids learning English or anyone who loves a good story. Sweet dreams, everyone. Good night. Inko out.